I think the other thing is Salford's performance, because I don't think it was just the fact that they took us by surprise with that result. I just think the manner in which they played, there was just a joy.
Well, Richard said, can we talk about Salford for 2 hours?
Well,
which probably their performance deserves.
I'm not sure I've seen a team that virtually didn't make a mistake for an entire 80 minutes that worked not only on an outstanding attacking principle by moving the ball wide all the time, but we do forget that defensively they were magnificent. Their scrambling defence was superb. You don't nil Catalan in Perpignan easily. Very few teams. In fact, I don't think Salford have nilled anybody in Super League up until this point. We've said we love the way Ian Watson
I think they have. I'm sure someone said they'd done it at the Willows before.
Right. I don't know whether
it might have been Catalan and Harlequins.
Well, they certainly haven't away, that is for sure.
Yeah, fair dues, yeah.
And we've always said we like the way Ian Watson goes about it. But I think there was something else. I get the feeling that Salford had a really good time out there. That they weren't one of these teams like Warrington the week before that had flown in on the day of the game, want to do the business and fly out. Which obviously clearly didn't work for Warrington. Does for some teams, it didn't for them. But Salford went out there a day early. They embraced the fact that the players were in an unfamiliar environment. They I think, helped the fans have a really good time as well. They were very open, and you know, you could see by the absolute joy between the players at the end of the game and the fans that had gone over and supported them. There's a clear bond there. I don't think it was just a case of going and trying to do the job and going out. They made it for themselves something a little bit more meaningful, and full credit to them. That was one of the most enjoyable 80 minutes I've seen for a very long time, and none of us saw that coming.
I think when you look at that Salford performance, you have got to say it was a 10 out of 10 performance, both with ball in hand, both defensive wise, discipline wise, because also as well when they were 20 points up, when they got themselves 30 points, they didn't put the queue on the rack. They just wanted to keep playing.
And they didn't close the game down. There was no kicking for touch because we're winding the clock down.
Not whatsoever. And it's a philosophy what I said many times on this show is how you train is how you play. And then on Saturday they played how they trained. And Ian Watson would have been saying, you know what, if I could bottle this up, because this is what I see. How many times Salford will train for the week? What, maybe 4 or 5 times as a team run? And then he'll be saying, do you know what, I just wish I could bottle that up because I know what these players can do.
Scott,
it's a matter of doing that on a consistency basis.
Ian Lenigan, should you be looking at Ian Watson now? And this is not anti-Salford, this is Ian Watson's doing a great job. If you give him the tools, he'll do the job. He's got the tools at the minute, the worry is will he have the tools longer term?
How can they do it to Ian Watson? They've got Sean Edwards coming in.
I'll tell you what, the way...
Well, should Ian Watson got a wash then where Edwards is supposed to go?
Do you know
well, hold on.
No, I mean, it's a serious question. Ian Watson is doing a great job.
Hey, listen, Ian Watson is doing a fantastic job. And when you look at the English coaches who are doing a fantastic job, right, and we know, I guess we might speak about it later on, but with the Wayne Bennett situation with Great Britain, why has Wayne Bennett got young English coaches as assistants? Which again we could speak about. But yeah, I don't have an issue. Ian Watson, is he good to be the Wigan coach? No two ways about it.
We don't want any coach to lose their job.
By the way, Salford fans now will be. They'll be
no, look, hey, that's how well he's doing. I'm sorry,
I agree.
But that's how well
I'll
he's
tell you
doing.
where this style of play would suit, because it would sit perfectly with the fans. Catalan. That was as Gallic a performance as I've seen. Running the ball, moving the ball.
What about our club?
Well, we'll talk about that after 7.
I just thought...
We like to play up and attractive.
I thought they'd swap the jerseys.
We like to play with commitment. We like to play with purpose.
The joie de vivre that Salford played with is how
Philip, we don't sit on the show we don't sit on the fence on this show.
How I thought French
Ian Watson for Leeds.
We'll talk about that later.
Salford fans are going to go ballistic.
No, look,
is that Ian Watson edging out Chris Chester, Danny Ward,
James Ford,
Darryl Powell.
Hey, listen.
One good game, you've got to become
hey, let me tell you this: Chris Chester, Danny Ward, and Darryl Powell. Even myself might do a little bit better this moment in time.
What I'm saying is, it was a very gallant performance. I would love to see a French team play that way, as indeed Toulouse did.
The worry for the rest of Super League, who might have been counting on Salford imploding, is that they're going to do, I think, what they did a couple of years ago, and that's get the points on the board early enough where it doesn't matter what happens in the second half of the season.
Lots of people very happy with Salford. And Tom says, why would Ian Watson want to go to Wigan and have his hand tied behind his back?
Look, it's a fair comment. It's not.
Yeah.
Salford's challenge, I think, now as a club, right, and they've clearly weathered a huge storm at Salford. The fact that they're still going and still in Super League is testament to everyone that's worked there. It's testament to Watson and the players that stuck by it. They seem to have the most popular man in Super League in Jackson Hastings that's bought into what they're all about. Everyone's buying into him, he's buying into everything else, and it's snowballing almost for them. Their challenge now is, how do they go from here? How do they make sure that they don't start losing players? Are the fans, again, travelled in good numbers at the weekend? I mentioned when I went to Huddersfield, they were there in massive numbers. Need to get more of them down at the AJ Bell every week and really get some money in the club coffers.
The issue for them hasn't changed. They need a bigger squad.
Yeah.
Adam Lawton made his debut, I thought, made a great impression. So again, Ian Watts is another of those coaches that can't always shop at the top end, but can get the best out of what he's got. But they just need about another 6 players because we want to shake up Super League. I mean, no matter who we support, we're all desperate to see a new name on the trophy, to have exciting things to talk about other than the obvious teams that seem to win it every year. So yes, we want Salford to continue in the manner in which they have, but the worry still is that as the season goes on, it's a very long season. 2 or 3 injuries to some key players will expose the depth of that squad. So Ian Watson has said he's been interested in 2 or 3 players this year, but they haven't had the money to go out and get them. That's the issue. Can they hold on for long enough with the squad fully fit? Can they rotate them to make sure they get the best out of them? But can they bring in 3 or 4 other players just to maintain the start that they've had, and then to start obviously building an academy so they can start generating their own
What squad have they got? What numbers is their squad?
Well, it's small, we know that.
Well, what is it, 23, 25?
No, they've got the 25, but it's after you get after that, where do the players come from?
Yeah, right.
You look at all the Super
what's the
League
quality
squads.
of the players from, say, 22?
Well, every team like that, Phil. Every team like that. But also as well, let's just take it another step then. If Salford don't get injuries, they'll be all right.
Yeah, they will.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't, it's not guaranteed they are going to get injuries.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's not guaranteed they're not going to get injuries. But what I'm saying is, if they don't get injuries, then boy oh boy, I'll tell you what, they will give it a shake-up because, the way that they played at the weekend, if they can get down on a consistent basis, well, they are gonna cause a lot of teams a lot of problems.
And rightly, a lot of the focus is on Jackson Hastings and Joey Lussick, but how well is Niall Evans playing at the moment? Is there a better fullback in Super League for linking into the line, for creating opportunity? Some of the stuff out wide that they did was solely down to Evans and his timing into the line. I thought it was absolutely
Well, I've been
magnificent.
contacted by someone from Salford who said about last week. You mentioned the Salford Academy. Well, Niall Evans and Jake Bibby are both out of the old academy, which is great. So where are the next Niall Evans and Jake Bibby coming from? That's the question, and maybe that is the next step for Salford. Like you said, is to get back into that and build their club. But it does sit in credit where it's due when we're seeing teams that are struggling financially that we deem bigger clubs than Salford. They're doing well at the minute, and I think we should enjoy that and hopefully see them kick on.
That 80 minutes was fantastic.
People like text me, "Are you watching the Salford game?" I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it either. Not that they won it, the manner of the victory, the manner of it.
And the fact that they managed to not only score a lot of really entertaining tries by pushing the ball wide, but that 0 is massive, I think. Absolutely.
But also as well, when you was watching the game, when you saw the Catalans players when they were stood behind the sticks, you could see the body language. They were thinking, "Hold on, what's Salford doing here?"
Yeah, this isn't what we saw in.
Why is Salford playing this sort of rugby league? Why is Salford literally throwing the ball about where they shouldn't be really playing it? Because we're not used to this. You've got to give credit where it's due, But because Catalans, did they really play that bad? I think we've got to say Salford literally just totally outplayed.
Well, I thought it was 6-0. I said to
Richard,
Richard, I thought they had a couple of chances, Catalans. I think Edwards dropped the ball a couple of times, and I thought, oh, they're getting on top here. And then bang, 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 up the other end, game was done. Where do they go from here then, the Dragons?
So the thing about Catalans is they normally intimidate teams because of the size of their back and the rotation of the guys they bring on. So again, full credit to Salford that in that period where Catalan were on top, that's where I think, as well as the great tries, that the 0 conceded is massive.
Yeah.
They weren't intimidated. Huge. The goal line defence was huge. We will talk about all the clubs that might and might not be in crisis. Are Catalan in crisis?
Well, hold on. Mick's just said Saints battered Salford and they look shocking. now they are world beaters, brave guys. I think
No,
there's an element.
that 80 minutes, they were world beaters.
Yeah, they were for that 80 minutes. They've got to get that consistency in. You know, we've been commented on by people from Salford who were getting stuck in because we tipped them to lose. I think, hang on, I tipped them to beat Leeds and they lost by 50. Leeds are the only team, Salford are the only team Leeds have beaten. So I think that's a fair point from me. World beaters.
Is there any?
I watched the worst. We're going to come on Leeds. We're going to come on Leeds after 7, Phil. I watched the worst half-back performance I've ever seen from a professional player on Friday night. I'm not peaking too early. It was mentioned, right? Legitimately mentioned that if Scully had played, Leeds would have played better, and I mean that. I sincerely mean that. I'm getting
Scully at his peak or Scully now?
Scully now. Honestly,
awful.
That is awful.
Anyway, hey, hold on, lads. Hold on. I had my MOT the other day. I tell you what, I'm pretty decent. The doctor, you know, with the MOT, pretty decent. Don't worry about that.
Dr. Kukoc.
Did you not put both feet on the scales, or?
I didn't.
According to Salford's website, they've got exactly 25 players in their squad.
Right.
Okay.
Helped by the fact Jackson
But also,
31, they haven't got 7.
but also as well, man. Just to reply to the guy there, said, well, Salford the volume 1 game. As I've mentioned from then, and we say it week in and week, it's all about consistency. And as I said, Salford on Saturday, they played how they trained, how they played, and how they played is how they trained. And if Ian Watson, as I said earlier, if he could bottle that up, you know, and get that consistency week in and week out, because the players have seen they can do it, you know. So now it's just up to them to say, all right, don't fall in love with ourselves, you know. And I said, just crack on, because if they do play like that week in and week out, they don't change their philosophy. Well, I'll tell you what, they will literally beat more sides. They will, because teams don't expect teams to play like Salford did at the weekend. And as Phil mentioned, the great point was they didn't put the cue on the rack, and all they wanted to do was just play open, smart rugby league, do it at the right end of the field. And as I say, they were very, very entertaining. And I tell you what, that it will bring the crowds back. That if that's the sort of rugby league they're going to play, crowds will come back.
Cass this week, it'll be tough. It'll be interesting to see how they go on at Cass. Cass obviously beating on Friday night. Lots of people getting involved. Yeah, Paul's getting stuck into us about getting coaches sacked, but we'll go back to Catalan in a minute. Go on, what's happening on social media?
Nick says, why don't Salford link up with Rochdale and Oldham? And Woodward suggests Swinton, Nick, to form a City of Manchester Academy. Well, the two Hull clubs do it. Why not?
I wouldn't. That might be the way they've got to go. That might be. Look, they need to be looking at this. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, well, I know we all know they've had discussions at some point with Manchester Rangers, who put in obviously a bid to be in League One, and they were going to work with Salford. So I think there are people at the club and within that part of the geographical area that are looking to make the best of what's there. But
from a Salford point of view, the sooner they can pretty much guarantee they're not going to be going down, you can then plan on another lot of Super League.
You know how much money that you've got, and you can allocate maybe a proportion of that to...
Exactly right.
I mean, to be fair, for some of the issues that Huddersfield have had at first team level, we know that they made a commitment 2 or 3 years ago to invest in an academy. That's starting to bear some fruit in that there are some players coming through who've now been the product of that academy, but it's a long haul and it takes a lot of investment. Salford at some point have got to start the beginning of that investment.